Hello and welcome to me blanking again on an Easter Monday. Typical April day today. It's kind of, the sun's trying to break through, but it's a wee bit cloudy, a bit of wind, you know, not ideal, but what are you going to do? So today I'm just going to do beat 2 up to beat 3 of the river here. Up to where I was before. Remember, I was the last video I was chasing bloody otters, so I'm going to go up there, up to the airport, just stopping at my favourite pools on the way up. I don't really expect to see many rising fish today. Sorry about the wind, I'll turn away from it as much as I can. I don't expect to see many rising fish. It is still quite cold, but there is a few wee hatchies. I've been watching these seams here, and there's usually fish sit along here, but I haven't seen anything in the last 10-15 minutes or so while I was getting everything set up. I'm using my 10-foot 4-weight again. I didn't bring the 4-weight switch out today. I don't need it. I can wade in easily. The water's quite low, very clear unfortunately, still very cold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just watch the pools for rising fish. I'm not going to cast blind, I'm just going to cast 2 rising fish, and there's one just right there, so let's go down to that. I'm not a big fan of fishing dry flies downstream, but there's no way of getting to where I just saw that fish from below it because those 2 big rocks are in the way. So let's go and see if we can get a cast over that. If I can remember where it was, I think it was just the opposite side with the smaller rock there. Let's see. I'll try and stay out of the water as much as I can, but I'm going to have to get in a little bit just to get my cast away. So while I'm doing this, so there's a few people have been watching. I've been struggling at the beginning of the season, as expected. You know, you don't expect, you know, summer fishing at the beginning of spring, but it's nice to see like a few people, you know, Chris Matthews and Currock and the like, have still managed to, yeah, that was going to happen, to winkle a few fish out here and there. Right, so snagged up. If I go in and get that out, I'm going to spook the fish. So right, what to do? Right, I've come up to the pines, and just as I was watching, right, I've come up to the pines and I was watching the pool downstream from here, just down there, that kind of slow water, and there's quite a few fish in it, but they seem like big splashy takes. It don't seem like they're very big. But I've come up here because I saw 2 or 3 fish coming up, one over by the far bank, one just under there, and one quite close to me. They didn't make a splash, they made a thud. So I'm thinking maybe this is where the bigger fish are sitting in the slightly faster water, because there is quite a big hatch of olive duns and black fly and whatever else is. I'm not sure. I'll have to get a book. Yeah. But there seems like there's quite a few decent sized fish sitting in this run here. So I'm just trying to find them. I know there's one there just in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that one can see me, so I'm not going to target that. And there's one just over by that overhang there, under the overhang, and that made a gloop sound when it came up, but didn't make a splash. So I think that's got some heft to it. I know I said earlier that I'm not really fussed about the size of the fish I catch, but if I can hook into a big one rather than, you know, 2 or 3 little tiny ones, I'll maybe try that. There's definitely life on the water. There's a few hatches as the day warms up. I've seen there was some little black fly when I came down, and now there's little, you know, those things with the 2 little tails, whatever they're called, olive duns or march duns or whatever they are. There's a few of them. I've put a daddy long legs fly on. I lost my fly a wee bit further down there, and there's a proper stiff breeze come up and it's blowing upstream, and it's making it difficult for me to get my fly where I want it to be. So I've put something a little bit heavier on just to try and cut through the wind. Although I wonder if it's a size 12, I'm wondering if it's maybe a little too big. I don't know what the fish are eating. If they're eating little black flies, then they're not going to take this. But you never know, you never know. I caught a fish with a daddy longlegs for my first fish of the season just a week or two ago. So I know they will take it. But if the wind dies down, or I get some shelter when I move upstream, I'll change back over to like a smaller size 14, maybe even a 16 greenwell's glory. There's a little fish just upstream of me there. I'm going to ignore that for now and try and see if I can winkle out the one that I know is sitting under that log. Or I suppose it is a log, isn't it? It's no longer, it's a dead tree. But the river's definitely come to life today. I've been going up and down for the last couple of weeks with and without my rod, just to see what's been going on, looking for rising fish or signs that fish are feeding. And I've seen very, very little until today, where there's this little bit of warmth and suddenly the river's just burst into life. Yep, got one. That's just a little one. That's one of the ones I didn't want to catch. I wasn't even casting to that one there. I was just letting my fly go downstream so I could do a snap sea and send it back over to the far bank, but never mind. An accidental fish is still a fish. Well, it's putting up a decent fight. Maybe it's a little bigger than I thought. Trying not to get myself in front of the camera too much. Let me see you. Where are you? Aye. That is definitely bigger than I thought. That's about a pound on that, I think. I thought it was a wee fingerling. Just got caught in, it was the fast water that was making it feel big. Well, let's get it to the net. Let's see. I need to get some more line there, I think. It's giving up the fight. It's easy to net, but it should be. There's a current right in front of me that's catching the fish. There we go. Let's have a look at it. Oh, well, actually, I take back what I said. That's an absolute unit of a fish. Look at that. I'm going to give that a £1.50. Easy. My hand will go to it. Yeah. Hang on a second. Let's get a set of gnashers on it. It's not too deeply hooked, just in the teeth. Get that fly out, no trouble at all. So there you go. That's my best fish of the year. Not the biggest I've had from the river, but I'm going to give that a £1.50, maybe even £2, and off it goes. Fantastic. There you go. I was avoiding that fish because I thought it was just one of the smaller ones. Turns out it's one of the bigger ones. Right, so Oops, dropped my net. Got one of these nets now, it attaches with the magnet for easy unclipping, but it does unclip a little too easy for my liking. Keep dropping the damn thing. So, there you go. That's the blank off for today with pretty good fish. Damn it, I've dropped my lead. I thought I'd hooked my fly on at my eye there, but it's come off. So I'm going to leave this pool, move up to Soggy Bottom and the steps, see what's doing up there, because I say there's a lot of fish rising here. I've seen maybe 10, 12 fish in this pool in the last 20 minutes or so, and I've taken a decent sized one, so I'll leave it for now, and then I'll see how it's looking when I come back down. I'm only out for a couple of hours today, but I'll see what it looks like on the way back down. But there you go, blank broken with a decent sized fish. Well, I've come up the river about half a mile or so by Soggy Arse and the steps, and I've seen a couple of fish rising, but just little ones. You can see they're only little fingerlings. I'm not going to bother targeting them. So I'm going to work my way up here. This is what I call Moby Dick Pool. Not because the fish are particularly big, but it was a fish last summer kept rising, and I was casting over it and casting over it, and it wouldn't take, and I kept getting snagged up in the trees behind me and the weeds. It's all been washed away now. There's a fish rising there. That actually might be Moby Dick. It's kind of difficult to tell because of the terrain's changed a little. Let's see if I can work my way down. There's a good chance I'll fall on my arse here. But aye, so I kept targeting this one fish, and I was getting mad, and I was coming back day after day, you know, trying all different flies and techniques to try and hook into it. Then I realised I was becoming a little bit obsessed, and I wasn't actually enjoying it as much as I should have been. I was determined to catch this one fish, so I've nicknamed this Moby Dick Pool. It won't mean anything to anybody else if I say, you know, oh, try Moby Dick Pool, but this is why I call it what I do. So there's a fish just rising just a wee bit out there, so it's still quite snaggy. I'm going to have to be kind of careful where I choose to take my cast from, or I might end up in the same predicament as I did previously. But I've learned my lesson about, you know, obsessing over a particular fish or one pool or whatever, so I'm just going to have a few casts here. I don't have a lot of time today, so it's going to be cast to, if it looks like a decent rising fish and there's a chance of catching it, I'll have a go. What the heck have I done here? Jesus. Aye. So I'm only going to be casting to, what have I done? Good lord, there's dogs coming up behind me. I hope they're not going to jump in. When I started out fly fishing, and I was getting myself into all kinds of messes and tangles, and you know, my rod would come apart because my casting stroke was all wrong and everything. And I thought, like, I've not got a clue what I'm doing, you know, I'm just making a mess of this. But the more I spoke to people and the more I watched people, I realised that there's nothing I've done that we all haven't done. You know, everybody's rods come apart, or they've got the line tangled around their head and they're trying to catch a fish, or you know, they're standing going, how the hell did this, how's my line got into this sort of shape, knots all over it and everything. And it's just part of it, I suppose. But it made me feel like a bit of a twit to begin with. But now I can just laugh it off, you know, and, you know, fair enough. It comes to us all. There's a couple of Labradors not far behind me, and they're slowly working their way up here. So hopefully the owners will see me in time and yeah, get the dogs out. Now there's very little insect life here. I'm not seeing any real rises. There was one rise that I've come down to check out there. I haven't seen it rise again. I'm not seeing anything else rise around it, so I think maybe this pool's maybe a little too sheltered. It's not got the sun yet today, and there's no hatches, or there's not been a hatch. Or there's been a hatch and I've missed it. This is more likely. Aye, one or two more casts to Moby Dick here, and then I'm going to move a wee bit further upstream and see if there's anything happening up there. And there's a couple of shallow fast parts with some nice slack water to the side of them, just below the railway bridge, which I really enjoy fishing. Got some nice fish up there. So one last cast over Moby Dick, and then we'll call it for here. I've came quite a bit further up the river from Moby Dick pool, and I've just had a look at the pools on the way up. I wasn't seeing anything moving except one fish that was out of reach, and an absolute bugger of a wind has blown up, pretty much putting the kibosh on the rest of the day. Certainly up here anyway, it's far too exposed. I did want to turn around into the wind, apologies in advance. I did want to fish this seam down here, but this wind has made it impossible. It's difficult to get a cast in here because it's so narrow and overgrown and steep, so you have to kind of flicky roll cast, very precise. But in the winds like this, you can feel the weight of the wind on your rod, you know, that way, and it just makes casting too difficult. So I've been sitting watching this little run here for a few minutes now, and I haven't seen anything rising, so I don't think I'm going to spend any time here. And there's a lovely run down here, this one that goes down this bank here. It's a great little nymphing stream, or seam. I caught one on the nymph there last year when I wasn't even trying to really, but again, I don't know if I want to slide my arse down the bank and wade across to get a couple of minutes nymphing, then I need to do it all in reverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sign off here, and I think that's going to be me for today. I'll work my way back down to where I started, down at the brig, or between the road brig and the old brig, see if there's anything there worth casting to. The river's definitely come to life down there at the lower stretch. Up here not so much yet, it's still too cold I think. So I've caught a nice trout today. I mean, I thought it was a little thing, turns out it was a bit of a clonker, so I'm well pleased with that. So I'm just going to start walking down. So I haven't I haven't fished the lower beat today, down at beat 1, because it's always far too busy during the holidays, especially Easter Monday. So I'll maybe go back down there through the week if it's quieter. But you need to get down there either late at night or quite early in the morning to avoid the dog walkers, and you get like nursery outings and school outings and all that, summer school outings. But anyway, I say the river doesn't belong to me, so I can't complain if other people want to use it. So quite a short one today. I haven't got as much fishing done as I wanted to, but because I only have a couple of hours today, I wasn't going to waste any time at pools where I wasn't sure there were fish. There was some conversation between some the club members and people who've been fishing this water for a long time about the damage to the river that the winter storms did there, and how much they've changed the landscape, as well as the riverbed. And the worry was that some of the pools had been destroyed and they weren't holding fish anymore, and that may still be true. We'll have to wait until late spring, early summer to see, especially if along here this is usually quite a good spot for fish. Hard to catch because the water's really slow, but it's usually a good spot for fish. But a lot of the structure they gathered around has been washed away, so we don't know if they're still here, and the worry is they've either moved upstream or downstream, and they may have left whole stretches of the river more or less dead as far as fishing goes, but that may just be the kind of natural pessimism of the defeated angler. You know, you haven't caught a fish, so there's no fish there. Obviously they've all migrated a mile downstream, but we'll wait and see. So unless I decide to have a couple more casts down under the road bridge or at the old brig before I head back home. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been of some use to you. The fish are there down by the pines and the brig. Up here I would leave. I won't come back up here for maybe 2 weeks depending on the weather, which I think is supposed to be rainy and miserable and dreary and Scottish for the next couple of weeks anyway. So I'm going to give this part of the river a miss, and I'm just going to concentrate on the lower stretches if I come back out again in the next few days. Okay, thanks for watching and cheerio and rasta.